Hello, everyone. I'm indeed Ilse, and I have been working in EasyBI support for more than 5 years. And despite the fact that I have created MDX calculations a lot, I still enjoy every time when I can create nice, smart report using EasyBI standard functionality without coding any formula. And today I will share you some of standard functionality, some old good things, and some of newcomers that we have invented during the last year. And I'm very proud of them. So I told already all I wanted to tell you about myself. And yeah, first of all, I will give a very short overview about those tools. Then the majority of session would be a live demo. We will create reports and a short recap. So now the tools. They say that all you have is a hammer. Everything looks like a nail. While MDX calculations is, I would say, the most powerful thing in EasyBI. There are other tools, other functionalities in EasyBI that you can use to create reports, combining them or using alone. And some of them are well hidden, so probably you haven't noticed them, but I really hope that the most of them you are already using, but I hope that you will find them, you will find how to use them a bit differently. So know what is in the toolbox, where you can find those things that can help you to create reports in EasyBI. First, remember that EasyBI is not a set of pre-made reports. It's a business intelligence tool. And you can always get more than you can see on the screen. You can drill from total values to detailed levels. You can look at any number from different aspects, drilling across dimensions. You can easily add other measures, other dimensions to the reports when you're creating them, explore data, and yeah, enjoy this deeper analysis functionality that provides BI tools. Another thing that is also related to business intelligence is that we import data from Jira, and during that process, we reorganize them in a so-called star schema, and it allows you to combine measures and dimensions in ways you can do that in Jira. So, and we already have created quite a large set of measures and dimensions, and metrics you can use out of the box. Just as Garda suggested, just explore them, learn how they work, what they retrieve, what values you can get from them, and use them wisely. And of course, we have nice standard functionality features. And the good thing is that we have added a few of them during the last year. And that helps to create more powerful reports without coding. So we can substitute some complex MDX calculations we had to use previously with those standard functions. So I will stop talking about theoretical things. Let's create a report. I know that there are customers and managers who always know how their report should look, what should be in rows, in columns, and filter conditions. But most frequently, we receive questions like, yes, I want to create some reports for project progress that are based on resolved issues and logged hours. And I want some trends that would show me how it goes. And yes, I want some information to be split in more detailed view, or spent by users. And also I want some list of detailed issues. And yeah, and I also want some overview. And it would be the best if I could see it all in one glance. As a support specialist who have worked with MDX 5 years, I theoretically could create a report, large report that contain all this information. But it would be very heavy with a lot of complex MDX calculations, and it won't be easy BI style report. So let's try to show this information in reports using only easy BI standard functionality without any additional MDX calculation. And this will be a live demo, so keep fingers crossed. Okay, I opened my Jira. So we remember, let's create a new report. So this is this new user interface. I already have version 6.0 on my Jira server, so it's indeed coming and it's working. We will see that soon. So first of all, let's start with the basics. We wanted resolved issues and log at the hours in time and some nice trends. We always teach our customers that they have to start building a report with measures. They have to know what metric would indicate the information they need. So we wanted to get information about resolved issues. We have a search box in the measure dimension where we can type in a keyword, resolved, and then you can see all the metrics that are related to resolved issues. Of course, we have a number of issues that are resolved, but also you can notice that we have a set of metrics that are related to the resolved issues, as indicates this resolved name, but that aggregates a total value from resolved issues from a specific custom field. For instance, story points resolved would show story points from resolved issues, or additional costs resolved would show total additional costs from custom field additional costs from resolved issues. So typing in this keyword would probably give you a better understanding what kind of metrics you already have related to resolved issues. And if your colleagues have already created some user-defined measure with resolved inside it, you would notice that as well. So we will choose issues resolved. The same goes for hours spent. You can again see all the metrics that have word hours here, and you can explore them. Probably they fit for your needs. Okay, we will use hours spent and unselect issues created. As we need a timeline, let's select time dimension here. We see that we have running our Jira for 3 years. Usually we need to limit that time period. For that, the best way would be to put the same time dimension in pages. This is also a feature we added during, I guess, the last year. So we set as a page filter, select 1 year, 2019 in this case, and we want this information to be split by months. One option, of course, would be expanding and removing. This is not cool. Let's click on the header of the column, all hierarchy level members, and select needed level. So we already got this nice looking table only for months for 2019. I promised trend lines, and someone asked already in the QA how to create trend, how many issues were resolved during year or months or created. So there is answer. We added a new standard functionality called add calculated, with an option to add most typical standard statistical calculations, averages, medians, linear trends, cumulative sum. Previously they required to create, at least for linear trend, quite heavy calculations. Now you just select, voila, we have linear trend for issues resolved. For hours spent, we would add cumulative sum, because it's more interesting for logged hours. Notice that this value is calculated, if I put it right next to this value, calculated not from the very beginning of the Jira time periods, but only for those values that are represented on the screen. So you create a list of values and then add this calculation and get this value calculated over the list of those rows that you are added to the report. For those who are more geeks, there is a possibility to edit MDX calculation behind this added calculation, but I promised no MDX today, so I don't touch it. Okay, for cumulative hours or trend lines, table views are not the best ones. So let's switch to the bar chart. Oh, there is already something interesting. Let's move it vertical. And what we can see that we have two different metrics with actually two different scales. Resolved issues are counted in issues while hours spent in hours. So first thing would be to put resolved issues and linear resolved issues trend on a separate axis. In that way, you can keep this report readable. And additionally, there is an option to add a title to an axis, so you would always know what is represented on this axis. What else? It seems that cumulative hours spent is too bright. Let's move it as a first measure to be behind all other lines, as the chart view is created based on the sequence of the measures. And the last but not least, the report is very colorful, and we usually suggest to use some color coding in values. Let's set cumulative hours spent blue, light blue, resolved issues some kind of green, resolved issues some kind of green, hours spent from the same blue color palette. This is also our, as Raimons already advertised, that we have this new color palette. So add the same color, but lighter tone, and resolved issues trend dark green. So we have created the first report with two different metrics in time for 1 year for a specific time period with trend line and cumulative hours, just using EasyBA standard functionality. Let's save this first report. We will create several. And I hope my colleagues will say that if I'm running out of time. Resolved issues and hours spent. Okay, the next promise was, okay, I want to split logged hours by users. You can always use some of BI functions to see values split by users or by other dimensions. But probably this is not the report you want in this case. But we have invented a new one, possibility to drill into from one particular measure to some detailed level. We could use the same report and do that. But as you can see, it doesn't look pretty. And actually, in EasyBI, we try to keep things simple. At least I, by myself, suggest to create two simpler reports than one more complex, so you can focus on the main information in the report. So I would suggest using this same report as a base. Keep current selection. Remove all those fancy trend lines and cumulative hours, and now split this hours spent by users. I would suggest splitting, first of all, using all users level as well, so you can see this total value, and then expanding this total value, you would see how this total value is split by users. Hide empty columns. I would move issues result. We will keep issues result for the context of the report. So let's go to the bar chart. Again, set a separate axis for issues resolved. Use a stacked option for stacking those hours spent for users. So you would see how this total value is built up. But there is one thing when you stack values with all users. Of course, this value is also stacked, and this column is not correct. It's actually show the double values. There are two options. One is just removing all users altogether from the report. But another option is to use it smartly. Sometimes users want to see the data label only for this total value, but in EasyBI we can show the values for each of the elements. So let's use this all users value as to display data label for total value of hours spent. For that, we will change, first of all, unstack, so it won't be stacked with all users, with a split value, and then change the type to scatter chart. Okay, this scatter point is not really nice if we use 2 columns, and as we use issues result only as a context of the report, we can change it to line type. Now you can see there is a value on the top of each column, and we can set, please show me a data label. Voila, we can show this value for the all members together without anything else. I do not like this very colorful view, and I just change the values to matching colors. I really love this color palette here. Okay, we have created a report. Again, from any bar chart, any table, you can drill through values. In this case, you can drill through work logs to see work log behind each hour spent total values. So again, use these EasyBI options if you want to see more detailed view. Let's save the report as logged by users. Move to the next one. Yeah, usually users want to do list. I am not a fan of the list because usually they are hard to perceive with a human eye, but sometimes they are needed. In most of cases, there is enough with those drill through options or drill into issues from one particular value, but yes, sometimes they need a list. Then, of course, you have to create them. Now we can create a new report. For issue list, of course, we need issues in rows, some project in columns, because if you have imported thousands of issues, then creating a list of issues is very brave step. And we also wanted hours spent as a main measure to show issue list by hours spent, so to show issues where we have logged the most of the hours. We can add additional information, for instance, original estimated hours if you want to see whether hours spent exceed original estimated hours. We can also have other measures. As Garda said, that if there is a dog, then you can see its tail. It's true in this case. We can add some dates, issue properties, for instance, issue created date and issue resolution date. Yeah. Before we expand to issue level, I want to select by project, so it won't be so long list. And again, I use this nice feature to click on the header and select the member. So the report is quite long. No human eye could perceive it. If we want to see only issues resolved in this 2019, because we used this in our previous reports, you can of course add time dimension in pages as we did in the previous reports, but this would affect all the measures you have used in the report. And our spend could be logged during 2018 if those issues are long resolution time. So if we do not want to affect all other metrics, we can also filter reports, not only by this page filter, but also by row filter. And filter rows between January 2019 and December 2019. There are different options how to write those regex functions, but this is quite easy. And now we want to see only a top of those values. So one old good thing is top rows. So you can see top rows by one specific value. In this case, it would be our spend, and we would see top 10 rows with more logged hours. This is already a report you can use and to see what is in here indeed. Let's save it. So, and the almost last request was to create the opposite of the report, of this detailed report, to see overview how much time does it take to resolve the majority of issues. Overview. For that, we have one more thing. We have interval dimensions. In easy BI import options, I already opened them. There are additional options where you can enable importing additional dimensions. One option is to import user groups, so you would be able to analyze data not by single users but also by groups. And there is also an option to import age interval and resolution interval dimensions to analyze data by by their, how long they have been resolved, or how what is their age right now. Just tick the option and import data. I already have imported those data in EasyBI. We will go back to Analyze tab, New Report. And as you can see, I already have those dimensions here. Move it in rows, and we already see that there are intervals with resolution days. There is metric issues created. Usually use issues resolved as resolution interval dimension. Of course, is usable only for resolved issues. Hide empty rows. But again, this report is a long list. If we want to show it like a pie chart, it would be quite messy. You may want to, and as we need to avoid outliners, you may want to make this list not so long. Again, we have another quite old option, a percentage from totals. So to show how long how long the majority of issues was resolved, you may use this percentage of totals. So we want to see how long does it take to solve 90% of issues. So we exclude outliers in that way. So select this. I would remove resolution interval, and I will add page dimension also here. So you would see it would change from project to project. And in this case, we can use pie chart. We usually do not suggest using pie charts because people tend to bake too much pies and then they can't eat them. And this is saying from my colleague Garda. So we can add name labels, values, and percentages. And this report already looks quite nice, that we can see that a large majority of the issues are resolved in 9 days. Sorry, I forgot one more thing. If we use this option, top percentage or top n, there is option to add all others. So we do not lose any data. Yeah, it was important thing to say. Now we can save the report. Resolution intervals. So the last request was, I want to see it one glance. For that, use dashboards, dear friends. Create a new dashboard. Sorry, there is demonstration. No, yeah. create a new dashboard, solution and our spend, add newly created reports one by one right now, add reports. You can expand them, then you can customize the outlook of the dashboard by moving around those reports. Yeah, we know that pie charts are usually smaller. So you can change the order if you need to. And one more thing, you can usually, if you put all those reports on one dashboard, you want to ensure that they are in the, they answer to similar questions about what project is used, what time period. So you can move those page selections from each report as common page selections for the whole dashboard. And then when you would select this value from the dashboard, it would be applied to all the reports where this page filter is used. So I will save the changes. Voila, we have created 4 reports, very different, using almost the same values, not values, but basic information, but we have combined them in different ways to answer to different questions, use different standard functionalities. And again, teach your end users that they can interact with those reports. You can, whenever the user opens the dashboard, they can switch between chart views to table views. They can still drill into values, drill through issues to find issues behind each of the values. They can drill through worklogs to see worklogs behind our spend metrics. They can drill into smaller time periods, and they can do drill across other metrics, for instance, to see how those resolved issues are split by issue types. So do not always start doing reports from detailed view, start from the totals, and then see if it is necessary to build more detailed reports or lists. And if you build lists, try to understand what do you want to show. If you want to show only top values or outliers, use top functions, top percentage functions. Okay. Sorry, my presentation. So we have created reports, and I'm running out of time, but what we have learned. So only a few words. Remember that EasyBI is a business intelligence tool, and use those options. Remember measures and dimensions, explore, and try them out. And we have cool features, and sometimes they're hidden, but they are there, and we are still working, to those features, and new things will definitely come out. And what is more important, even if you are not afraid to create MDX calculations, remember that exploring how EasyBI works will tremendously help you to be prepared to create your own MDX calculations. And have fun exploring the tool. So questions that will be answered in Slack or in Zoom. So thank you very much.